All right, Shalom, to Brother Shamar from the Phoenix camp. And with that being said, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Kakadash. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the brothers that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. Let's jump right into the scripture. This is Hebrews 13:1. It says, "Let brotherly love continue." So it speaks of a love amongst the brotherhood. It speaks of a kinship, a fellowship. It speaks of an affection one towards another, man. The scriptures talk about the bond between brothers in this truth, man. It's a deeper bond than your own family members. You know that's why when Yahweh Shai, I'm just go ahead and get that scripture, man. That's why Yahweh Shai said this Matthew 12:50 said, "For whosoever shall do the will of my Father, which is in heaven, the same as my brother and sister and mother." So that tells you what qualifies as your brother. That tells you what qualifies who you should give preference to, and it can that criteria outranks your flesh and blood family members, and that's what a lot of people don't understand or what they want to accept about this truth. That the criteria of brotherhood in the truth that outranks your flesh and blood family members, and a lot of individuals they can't accept that, man. Because we're taught, growing up, family first. That's a popular saying. No, it's the Most High first, man. It's the Most High first. It's not family first. It's the Most High first. If you're a man of this truth, it's the truth first, and then you know your family. That's why the scripture said, "He that loves brother, mother, father more than me is not worthy of me," because preference is not given, to your proper power. That's why it says in the Ten Commandments, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." And if you're and what do you do to a God? You worship, you reverence, you prioritize, and you can do that to your family members. You can do that if you have a wife. You can do that to your wife. Well, they demand that shit. There's Jake in the world. They worshiping. They into woman worship. They bound down to the woman. They're giving preference. They're giving obedience. They listen to everything she fucking say. They got that saying, "Happy wife, happy life." This is just an example, man. So that preference of brotherhood is to the will of the will. It's to your brothers in this truth. You got to prioritize the Most High, and one of the ways you do that is by prioritizing those that do the will, that do the work, same as you. They take priority over your flesh and blood family members, whether you like to believe it or not, whether you can accept it or not. And with that being said, that you have to give those men a certain hospitality. We're gonna get into that too, man. Let's go back to Hebrews. It says Hebrews 13:1. It says, "Let brotherly love continue. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares." There's been instances where angels have come to brothers. And how do we know they're angels? Just by the things they say. They would be saying something, it'll be deeply spiritual, but they could look like a bum off the street, and it'll just pop out of nowhere. There's instances that we have encountered brothers in my camp that have encountered where we have encountered individuals like that. They just pop out of nowhere, and they speak some type of spiritual truth. And they could be angels. Most likely they are angels, man. If you look into the scriptures, angels came in the form of men, and the angel just means messenger. So when you see a man sincere in his truth, you gotta make sure to give that man the proper hospitality. And we're gonna get a few scriptures concerning that. Let's get Matthew 25 and 35. So we already told you what qualifies as a brother, what qualifies as someone that's give you hospitality to, and that's he that does a will. That's who you qualify as a brother, man. Let's get Matthew 25 and 35. Let's get Matthew 25, and we're just gonna run through it real quick. Matthew 25 and 35. And it says, let me see here. Yeah, I'll start at verse 34. It says Matthew 25 and 34. This is a parable that Yahweh Shai is speaking. It says, Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye blessed of my father, and here is the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. That's talking about separating the sheep from the goat. The sheep being the elect. For I was hungry and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you took me in. Naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was prison and you came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer, saying, Lord, when we saw thee hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink, when saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? When saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, as much as ye have done to one of the least of these my brethren. Now we already told you what qualifies as a brethren, as a brother, he that does the will. So we're supposed to show the hospitality to one towards another, man. And he and like, and he gave examples of the hospitality, man. You know, Hunger and you gave me meat, breaking bread, giving food to a brother. You know, Thirsty and you gave me drink, sharing the drink with a brother. Naked and clothed me, helping a brother out, man. Sick and you visited me, being concerned about a brother in time of illness. In prison and you came unto me, well, saying in prison, but it falls into the category of hospitality. And it says, when saw we, back to 39, or when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, as much as ye have done it unto one of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. So that speaks of a hospitality in the brotherhood, man. So I'm going to get a few more scriptures, Romans 12 and 10. It says Romans 12 and 10, and it says, Be kindly affectionate. Let's get the word affection. It says, the mutual love of parents, children, and wives and husbands, loving affection, prone to love, loving tenderly, chiefly of the reciprocal tenderness of parents and children. It says, cherishing one's kindred, especially parents and children, from the natural relatives, fraternal towards fellow. That's fraternal towards fellow. That word fraternal goes to brotherhood, man. So to be kindly affection one with another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another. Let's get that word preferring. Giving preference to one another. And that's a form of hospitality, man. Having real concern for your brothers. That's a form of hospitality, man. So we're supposed to do that. We're supposed to walk in that spirit, man. You know, Scriptures talking about being slow to anger. Scriptures talk about being patient. Scriptures talk about edifying one another. And these are all forms of hospitality in the brotherhood, man. So this is just things that we have to meditate upon as we do our walk and as we associate and fellowship and be amongst the brotherhood. You gotta be mindful of these things, man. Because this world turns you cold. It turns you cold. It turns you distrusting. You know. So it turns you distrusting to people. So the scripture says you gotta prove a friend, but that brother's doing the work, that he's proven a friend. You know. But this is just something that we have to think about as men being in this truth. Having that brothership and that fellowship amongst each other, because it's very important things. It's so important. It wouldn't if it wasn't important. The scripture wouldn't mention it. Basically, what I'm trying to say. But let's see here. It says yeah. It says be kindly affectionate one to another, with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another, not slothful in business. Slothful, lagging in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. So we're supposed to admonish each other and encourage each other to do this work. What's the best of our ability. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing in prayer. We're supposed to pray for each other, man. Distributing to the necessity of saints. Let's get the word necessity. The needs of the saints given to hospitality. That's why we pay tithes, and that's why we send tithes to the apostles, and that's why we make sure brothers it's okay, and they got the things necessary for them to do their work, man. So these are all forms of loving one another. These are all forms of hospitality, man. So let's get 1 Timothy 3 and 12, I think it is. This is 1 Timothy 3 and 12, and it says, That it. It's a lot. It's like this First Timothy 3 and also verse 1. So this is the true saying: if a man desires, get the word desire, aspires the office of a bishop, the word bishop goes into overseer. That's what we are. We are overseers of his word. We, in a sense, we are bishops. He desires a good work. A bishop must be blameless, the husband of one wife. So you're in this truth. You're allowed to have multiple women. But for the sake of the truth, it would be in your best interest just to keep the one you got. They said that saying cheaper to keep her, right? Just to, because your effort's supposed to be focused on the truth, not juggling multiple women. The scriptures say that you're not going off if you have multiple women, but this is the man that has an office of a bishop. He has to it to the, it's recommended that he have just one woman, one wife, and then in all actuality, the one wife that we do have is his wisdom, is his truth. First and foremost, she is the woman, Sophia. She is the woman. She is the one wife. She is the one wife that we're supposed to have. And your flesh and blood wife, she's the side piece, man. So she should be treated as such. And your true wife, which is wisdom, should be treated with a much more importance. If you can receive that, these women these dudes that bow down to these women, they can't receive that, man. But this is what a bishop must do. So the bishop must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality. And that's part of hospitality is generosity and preference to each other in his brotherhood. It says apt to teach. Teaching is a form of hospitality. When you go out there and teach your nation, that's a form of hospitality. When you're teaching willing individuals, that's a form of hospitality. That's a form of loving the brotherhood, man. That's why Yahweh Shai said, if you love me, feed my sheep, feed my flock, you know. So these are all examples in the scriptures of a brotherly love, you know. So I'm gonna get and there's a lot of more scriptures that pertain to that, but I just got a few. What's that? I'm gonna get Titus 1:8. This is Titus. That's a lot. It's Titus 1:8. It says, once again, the office of bishop, overseer, or man that's responsible for the overseeing his word. For a bishop must be blameless as a steward of your house. Let's get the word steward. It says the manager of household, of household affairs, a steward, manager, superintendent. And we're in charge of his word. We have been given uh, uh, supervision over his word. Each individual man in the truth is supervises the word. That man he must manage it correctly. We are managers. We are managers of his word. We must manage our walk in his truth. We must manage the way we teach. We must manage, how we do things for the Lord. I said, for a bishop must be blameless as a steward of your house. So manager, you're managing the riches that Yahweh Shai gave you. You know, because that's a parable too. The parable of the talents. Those men managed the talent that the Lord gave them and they multiplied it. They managed it correctly. Said not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, no striker, no given to filthy lucre. So it's all characteristics of conduct that a man must have in order to be effective in his truth. But a lover of hospitality, a lover of good men, sober, just, holy, temperate. The word temperate goes self-control. So these are all characteristics of conduct that will help you grow in this truth, that are necessary to being a successful, successful to the Lord in this truth. Not successful as you like trying to seek status, successful to where you're doing it correctly. Holding fast the faithful word as he has been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and convince the gangsters. So we gotta strive for these things, man. We gotta strive to hold fast the faithful word. We gotta strive to be edifying in everything that we do, especially to ourselves. Elder Gabar, he mentioned, when they talk about the lessons that he makes, that he edifies himself also, that he takes heed to them also, that he's speaking to himself also, man. So we got to be in that same spirit, man. Let me get 1 Peter 4:9, and we'll close it out. This is 1 Peter 4:9, and it says, use hospitality unto another without grudging. I'll just go verse 8. It says, and above all things, have fervent charity. That goes into brotherhood too. It's a lot. Among yourself, for charity shall cover a multitude of sins. And charity, love, brotherhood, brotherly love. Give hospitality to one another without grudging. As every man has received a gift, even so many the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Yahweh. We just went into that about being a steward and what it entails. So this is a few quick scriptures. Because you always gotta strive to perfect yourself in this truth. It is not just about knowing scriptures and calling Esau the devil. And we all know these things, and we all prophesy and we teach these things. But there's a deeper standard that we must attain to. But with that being said, it's a real quick lesson. Most High wouldn't hope was edifying. With that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakadash, Kahala Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Let's keep on pushing. Shalom.